We need to rise up, yo. It's been too long, we've been sleeping, yo. Take off the blinders and stand up tall. Anxiety, depression. No crime, then oppression. Kids in school, but there's no lesson now. Ain't no proof, no discretion now. No discretion, we need to wake up, yo. Ain't much time now, so stand up tall. We all we got, we can float at the ball. So band in love, life matters all. Stop your lying. What you selling, we ain't buying. We walk now, we open up that door. We see it clearly, them high no more. They don't really care. It's time to wake up, yo. We need to rise up, yo. It's been too long, we've been sleeping, yo. Take off them blinders and stand up tall. It's time to wake up, yo. We need to rise up, yo. It's been too long, we've been sleeping, yo. Take off them blinders and stand up tall. They don't really care about us. FranDaddy.
Face up high, all together. Every day good for weather. If it's hard, it'll be all better.
Time for something, don't fall, get it together.
Gotta wake up and be someone. It's all inside of you.
Nah, 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 nah. Nah, 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 nah. Yeah.
It's people starving.
Nah, 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 nah. Yeah.
But we can make it one day. We keep
Nah, 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 nah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's time to wake up, yo. We need to rise up, yo. It's been too long, we've been sleeping, yo. Take off them blinders and stand up tall. It's time to wake up, yo. Smart guy. We need to rise up, yo. It's been too long, we've been sleeping. Sing with me now. They don't really care about us. Oh man, we got a special guest in the building today, baby. And we had that y'all already know. That's my new John Wake Up on Evolution of StarChougie on every platform. Go ahead and download the dog shit out of that right now. Okay? So we got He Is Blanche. Wait, am I saying this right? He is Blanche.
Yeah. He is Blanchard, yeah.
He is Blanchard. All right, so
Yeah.
is your name Blanchard?
Yeah, my name Robinson Blanchard.
Oh, that's your last name. Okay, because I was like, his mama named him Blanche, but that's all right. That's all It's all good. I mean, you know, it's a male named Blanche. He gotta be very strong in his shit. You know, made it through school like this. You know, kids is rough. You got a name like Blanche coming through school. You bound to get fucked with, right? But yeah, I'm so happy to have you here today, good brother. I love what you're doing on IG and on YouTube as well.
Man, I'm on YouTube, but YouTube is hating, man. YouTube is they're about to ban me. I'm on the verge of being banned from YouTube.
That means you are doing your thing. If you're not getting banned off of YouTube, if they not calling you a whistleblower, then you ain't doing it. You ain't doing what you're here to do. You know? So I appreciate all that, what you're doing. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
Yeah, this is He Is Blanchard. You know, I'm glad Miss Star reached out to me to do this show. But basically, what do you want me to say?
Give them your IG information. Give them your Instagram information. How they can reach you.
Is the same. IG is at He Is Blanchard. Twitter is at He Is Blanchard. YouTube, He Is Blanchard. Everything is He Is Blanchard.
Okay, I love it. Yeah. So, what inspired you to get started? You know, spreading the word. Did you just wake up one day like me, kicking and screaming, like, "Oh, they lying," and I'm telling everybody? How'd it go for you?
You know what's crazy? I've been on social media, but not to this extent like I was this past year. And I'm gonna be honest. This whole COVID thing kicked off, and some of my spirit said it's not right.
Right.
Like, and then after that, I just kind of started going down a rabbit hole and just started uncovering everything. Really, honestly. But yeah, this whole COVID-19 thing really opened up the Pandora's box for me to start questioning everything.
Same with me. You know, with me, you know, briefly, because this interview is more about you. We're gonna collab, but this is more about you because I really love what you're doing, and I want my folks, my followers, to get to love you just the way that I did. But you know, with me, it was back in like January of 19, and you know, I was Christian, and you know, I started to pray like heavy because all this stuff was going on, and like you, I felt like something was wrong. I'm like, they are leaving a lot. It's holes all through this story. Something don't feel right.
And I feel like there was a great spiritual awakening for a lot of us at one time. It was crazy. But I remember praying, like, I was praying to Jesus at the time. I was just like, I don't know if I'm praying to the right person, but I know there's a lot going on, and I know that I want to help in whatever that's
Yeah.
going on. I want to be able to be of assistance through this. So I need you to tell me what my job is. This is what my prayer was. I need you to tell me what. I mean, I'm having one of them deep prayers, with the snot and the tears and shit, And
Laying
I'm
on
just,
the ground.
yeah, like, help me, Lord. I'm trying to help you to
Yeah.
help me, help you. So within, I say less than 24 hours, I start getting downloads, and I start, like, all this stuff start. I mean, I guess my blinders just was coming off slowly. I've always been semi-conscious, but shit just start getting, like, I mean, smack dead in my face. And I'm like, oh, y'all lying. Y'all full of shit and all this and everything. And then once it was just like a domino effect. It just start clicking in every day. I'm getting new downloads and finding out that a lot of things that we've been told has been bullshit. So,
Yeah.
I mean, far as the COVID thing, you say the COVID is what really took you off to the races.
Yeah, because I'll tell you, so back in December of 2019, I watched a documentary on the one child rule in China.
Uh huh.
And it talked about how, basically a family can only have one child. And so what most families were doing was they was taking the girl child, if it was a girl, and it was their first child, and it was basically just throwing the child in the trash.
Right.
And so in alleyways, trash, leaving them, and there's a lot of stories. So I saw how crazy China was. And then the next month in January, or around that time too, I saw some videos of a virus in China
Right.
during that time where people were like passing out and
Yeah.
bloody, all those videos back in December. So then
Mhm.
January, I saw an article on CNN, and I tell people they're going to tell you the truth. They're gonna put the truth in your face and then distract you with something else, but they're going to tell you the truth. And so I read an article, and it talked about microscopic cells that were able to go in your body and destroy diseases basically.
Mhm.
But it was a microscopic AI controlled cell.
Right.
This is back
Right.
in January. So I said that's some strange technology.
Right.
So
Them
then
nanoparticles.
the nano. Thank you. So then the next month, I go out to LA, and I'm hearing little subtle stuff about some kind of virus.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then in March, everything kicked off. But by the time March came, I'd already seen the China documentary, the virus in China, the nanotechnology, and then all of a sudden this mysterious virus comes up. So my spirit was like, something is not right.
Right.
Because it just didn't seem right. And so since that, I was just looking at everything. Like you, I was getting information, my timeline used to be filled with ratchet stuff, now.
Mine's too, right? Oh man, life changed, hasn't
Yeah,
it?
man, listen, my timeline now is about survival, spiritual,
Yes.
everything, everything we need, basically.
Right. Everything we need spiritually because what people don't understand is that we're in a spiritual warfare, and we're in a war on our consciousness as well, and they are struggling and fighting tooth and nails. Although we already won because we watching everything in playback mode. Although we already won, we are watching this shit play out where they are fighting strategically, but they messing up so much, but they are fighting so hard for our consciousness, and they're doing everything under the sun that they can to dumb us down, to get these nanoparticles inside of us, to activate us through these towers that they then threw up all over the place, because the nanoparticles and the towers go hand in hand. People are wondering why, they put these towers up everywhere. The same reason why this CVID came up, and and these tests everybody's getting tested. There's nanoparticles in the test. There's nanoparticles in the vaccines. I mean, there's all types of shit in the vaccines. But I'm trying to find a good place for us to start, because we have so many things that we could talk about. Let's talk about the vaccines. What is your take on these vaccines?
Well, my take on a vaccine period is it was something man-made. It
Mm-hmm.
was something that we didn't need. It was something that I think vaccinations even started with cows. And so
Facts.
it's not even something that was made for people.
Mm-hmm.
And matter of fact, the same way they test cows is how they test us with the going up your nose with the swab. It's the same way they
Facts.
test. But I believe that I think I looked up and syringes were invented back in the 1500s.
Okay.
So I'm going to assume they've been doing this kind of stuff for centuries,
Yeah. Yeah.
viruses. And so I believe, honestly, that all these viruses we see on the earth are man-made. Whether it was
Absolutely.
polio, measles, they've done this to us since the beginning. So I don't trust any of it.
Right.
People say they trust vaccines, but I'm like, if you trust vaccines, then why would you trust one that they made in record time?
Right.
Like even if you did trust it, it still takes about 10 years. So why would you trust the one that took 9 months? Like even
Yeah.
if you bought a new car, the first edition of the car is gonna have all the problems.
Right.
Then they perfect it with the next year and the year after that. So if it comes to a virus or a vaccine, why would you trust the first batch that they did in 9 months?
Exactly. Like you said, the vaccines has been a way to dumb us down spiritually. Because
Mhm.
the thing is, if we all wake up, if more people like you and I begin to be like you and I, they're in trouble. So they have been using it as a weapon. Vaccines has
Yeah.
always been a weapon to keep the melanated beings sedated. And I'm not going to say just the melanated beings because they are actually doing that to all of us. We are all in this war together at this point.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it used to be a melanated thing. Now is that everybody whose hair is going to suffer, and catch the consequences of their actions. Um, that's what I feel about the vaccines. I didn't know. I was blind at one point where I felt like I was being a good mother, taking my children to get vaccinated, and I
Yeah.
probably would have looked down on somebody who said, "Oh, I haven't taken my child to their appointment, and gotten them vaccinated," and I'm like, "What? All the stuff that's out here, and you ain't get your child vaccinated? What's wrong with
Yeah.
you?" When all along, I'm the one who had it fucked up. But we live and we learn.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And like you mentioned just now, I told people, I said, Bill Gates said he wants to vaccinate, and it's funny that he wants it done, but Bill Gates said he wants to vaccinate 7 billion people. And
right,
I said, that doesn't matter about your race. 7 billion is the planet. That means they want to vaccinate everybody.
the world.
The world. So I said, so y'all can fight over race if y'all want to, but in the end, it's going to boil down to us versus them.
That's it.
Good versus evil.
That's
That's
it.
what it's going to boil down to.
Yeah, it gets me because I guess that can be the next thing we'll roll on into is this how they're trying to construct a race war.
Oh.
It's really getting on my nerves. I'm so tired of them
Oh, my
playing.
goodness.
They playing it, and now that I'm more conscious to their games. They've been doing it. They've been doing
Yes.
it. They've been trying to promote that black people is just getting killed and by the cops and this, that, and the third, and they are. However, white people are getting killed by the police as well. And pulling up statistics, it's looking like more of them got killed by the police, and more people have killed police than they're documenting. So why
Yes.
they don't document that? They're just trying to get us to be so. Just fill this planet full of hate. That's what it's all about right now. Just filling this planet with hate, and then divide and conquer. That's the
Yeah.
name of the game. So yeah, what's your take on this whole race game
I
that
mean,
they
I'll
playing?
be honest. I mean, the whole race thing was created, to divide the people anyway.
Facts.
Because to me, the greatest weapon is racism because it's visual. Like you can see what somebody is. So it's easy to say if a person looks like this, they're bad.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like every white person is not bad.
Facts.
Just like every black person is not good.
That's right.
And I feel like in these times, there are a lot of white people that have stuff that we gonna need, like how to farm, like having seeds, like having stuff. Like it's gonna be survival at this point because Bill Gates talking about blocking the sun out.
Facts.
He's talking about China has built an artificial sun. Why would they build an artificial sun? Because they plan on blocking out the real one. I said, so I'm telling people, y'all can make this about race, but in the end, when the lights cut off, nobody's going to care what race you are. People are going to want to get food, water, shelter. And so the funny thing is, like you said, this entire time, it's been a whole race game.
Yes.
I even believe that slavery itself was an
Let's
actual,
talk about it.
like ritual. Because you get the people, the first thing you do is you break the man down. And you make the family watch. Then the second thing you do is you break the mother down and you make the family watch. Then the third thing is you don't have to break the children down because they're already broken down by the parents. So then you repeat that over and over again. And then when somebody get out of line, you have a public lynching or burning at the stake or mutilation or whatever. And think about the psychology behind even white people seeing that.
Right.
Even white people seeing that's damaging to them too. Whether they know it or not, it's damaging to them because that stuff gets passed down. So to me, it was one big ritual, one big satanic, demonic ritual that got us where we are today.
Facts.
So now when we look at each other, it's automatic. I don't know what you call it, resentment or contentment or mistrust or even trust.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a game. You're right the entire time.
Yeah, the whole slave piece, I've been digging into this whole slavery piece, man. And a lot of the things that they saying is not adding up. Like, how did we bring over millions of people on 5 ships, right? And how did they do that? First of all, that means you got bodies piled on top of bodies, right? And you driving all the way from Africa because they want us to think we all came from Africa, which is bullshit. Okay.
Yeah.
So they drive this slave ship through all these terrains and seas and all these things like this, right? With all these bodies piled up that gotta urinate and everything else that they gotta do.
And you gotta feed them.
You gotta feed them. Okay, because if you don't, by the time you get to your destination, your slaves is dead.
Yeah.
Your slaves is malnutrition. They can't pick no cotton and nothing else for you.
Yeah.
So I find that a lot of this is bullshit. And then I wonder where's all these slave ships? I'm looking for the slave ships just like I'm looking for Noah's Ark. Like these are big, gigantic ships that can't just be, hidden in a garage. So where is this stuff at? We still have tombs that's standing, but we can't find these ships and we can't find all this. There's no documents. If you had slaves, don't you need documents to say that it was this amount of slaves on board? Whatever their names was, even if you didn't keep names, how many slaves was on each ship? Like they don't have any type of paperwork, any type of documents, right?
Yeah.
I feel like this was just another tool to keep us mentally held down. I believe there was some form of slavery. I believe there was some form of indentureship, like where people was indentured servants or whatever, work like we are right now, work punching the clock. We are all indentured servants if we have to punch a clock. Yeah. They traded in the CBA documents, which was what they gave the indigenous people for slave trade to job applications. It's all the same thing. But I just find a lot of holes in that as well. Let me look what time. Okay. Oh shit, we done went over. Oh no, it's only 6:14. We good. All right.
Yeah, so speaking of that, so I did a video that went viral and I was asking where are the slave ships? Of course, a lot of black people got triggered, but I said if they had slave ships, they'd have them in every city. They build amusement parks around them. Like if they had slave ships, they'd be celebrating. Like we see slave ships everywhere. We go on tours through them. I said, and I'm like, the numbers don't add up.
Right.
And then most of the slaves didn't even come to North America. They
Right.
didn't even come here. So I'm like, so clearly there was slaves already here. Now, I don't know what types of slaves were. To me, I feel like it may have been some indentured servants.
Right.
Because some slaves actually paid for their freedom.
Right.
And then I believe that it was some actual chattel slavery, but I don't know what it was based on.
Yeah.
Because it could have been based on something, whether you were indentured servant or you were chattel slavery. But I do know that that story is all BS, because if they had slave ships, they would be everywhere in the country, and we'd be reminded of them, and it'd be
Over and over.
T-shirts.
It'd be a museum. They would all be museums. They would have the shackles and the cuffs and all that type
Everything.
of, the buckets that they had to use. That's bullshit. But I mean, again,
And it's not even financially feasible, really. You think about it. They said a slave ship is housing anywhere from 250 to 600 slaves.
right.
So that means that's a lot of trips.
That's a hell of a lot of trips, and they don't talk about taking several trips.
You got to take several. That's a lot of trips.
They don't talk about taking several trips. That's a great point that you brought up, because that's not something that's brought up. It's like, okay, we went and got all these slaves. First of all, we didn't fight back. We just all got on the ship like humble little sheep. We didn't fight. We just all of us versus however many people that was manning the ship. We could have kicked their ass up and down that ship, okay? But we just all got on there knowing that they was coming for us, knowing that it was taking us, and we just went just peacefully, to be slaves in another country that we don't know anything about.
And I actually went to a slave castle in, I think it was in Ghana. Well, you walk through the slave castle.
Oh, so they have a slave castle, huh?
Yeah, basically where the slaves would go through before they went to the ship. And it was interesting because there was this big, like, red building by the castle.
Right.
And basically, if, I guess, a slave master had a child,
okay,
the children weren't slaves. So over in Africa, they said that the children, if they had a child over there that was, half white, half African, that child was able to go, and it was this big red building where they got to go to school and everything. So it was funny that he told me that they got separated. So as over here, supposedly, black children that were half black, half white were still put in slavery, but over there it wasn't that. And they got to go back, and they got to go to the European countries too, the children of the slave owners.
So the stories is not matching up from country to country.
No.
And it's very disheartening to me that I wasn't able to speak to my elders a little more. I wish that I had talked to my elders more. I wish I had gotten their side of the story more, because you don't hear them talking about slavery. You don't hear when, like, far as I can remember, talking to my great grandparents. My great grandmother, I don't ever remember her saying, "Well, baby, I was a slave," and things like that. I don't recall hearing her say anything like that. And she would have had to been, catching the remnants of slavery. We're not talking that long ago. So this is Friend Daddy, my co-host. He is Blanchard and is in the building.
What's up? What's up, man?
How you doing? Greetings.
Yeah, he's always on time. He like Jesus. You might not come when you want him, but he always on time.
He always on time.
Get off of work. Back to work. Go to work after this.
That's how you got to do it. Listen, good brother, you already know the name of the game.
So you can hear me, brother?
Yeah, I can hear you.
No, I'm just chiming what you just said because it was funny. Because one of my grandmothers did tell me a story.
Okay.
She told me her grandmother shot her slave master, and that's how they got free, and that's how they came up to the north.
Oh wow! So was your grandma?
She's still living.
I need to talk to her.
She's still living.
I would like to. Matter of fact,
She out West Philly.
We
Bring her on the show.
need to bring her up here.
Yeah.
We
Bring her on
really
the
need. Yeah, we need to bring her up here. We really need to talk to her because I need to hear what exactly what was taking place.
Yeah, her name is Joyce. Miss
And her-
Joyce.
See, Miss Joyce, she the one who shot the slave.
No, her grandmother.
Oh,
Because it's Miss Joyce's. Yeah, we got to talk to her soon because she's pushing like a bean.
okay. Oh yeah, we need to talk.
See,
to
it's
her.
actually my grandmother-in-law.
Okay.
But she's still around. But she's still my grand. She took good care of my kids. So Like I'm
Yeah.
claiming it. You know
Well,
what I
yeah.
mean?
Well, she's our grandmother
So
now.
I'm
She's the
claiming
show's
her.
grandma.
But yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, speaking of schooling, what's your take on schooling, on the school
Uh,
system?
I mean, I've been, I got a master's degree, and I'm gonna tell you that it's a ripoff. It's a setup because
Another
the
master over
education,
here, a bachelor over
it,
here. Go ahead.
the education system is designed to basically make you a worker. It's designed to make you like a drone. Because they don't teach you independence in college. They don't teach you to start your own business. They don't teach you to none of that stuff. They teach you to work in the field for the rest of your life. Think about the formula. The formula is graduate from high school, go to college, get a job, work 40 years, retire, die.
Period.
That's the basic formula they give you for life. And I'm not against education because I learned what I learned in college was how to interact with people, expanding what I thought about the world. Like what I learned from college was more outside of the classroom than it was actually in the classroom. Because
Right.
I do feel like the experience of college is great for anyone because what you experience in college, you learn the foundation of life in college because you're on your own and you're navigating two worlds. You're navigating the social world and educational world.
Right.
So I am a advocate for the experience of college. However, education in itself, though, it's a setup.
Okay. Yeah, and that's how I feel. So, I went to Penn State. FranDaddy you have a bachelor's, right?
Yeah, and yeah, I have a bachelor. Who cares?
Yeah,
Yeah, I got a couple of jobs.
But I just so just recently, right? My son got accepted to Clark. He got accepted to Georgia State. He got accepted to a lot of accredited universities, right?
Yeah.
But this is after I gained consciousness. This was, and so I'm looking at him and he like looking at me and he like, well, what we gonna do, right? Far as school, and he like, I'm like, well, son, I mean, it's up to you, but at the end of the day, you can start your herbal business. Like we have a family business, you can start your own branch of the herbal business. That's what you want to do. And he took the ball and ran with it to the point where he's actually in school to be a doula, postpartum doula as well, so we can have all that inside of our herbal clinic, delivering babies and all that type stuff. But it's just the setup because I still have a student loan from Penn State. You know what I'm saying? And it's not my business. My business courses did not teach me how to be an entrepreneur. It taught me how to make money for others. It taught me how to crunch numbers for the others, the people who I was going to be the master, and so it's just I find like it's a trap, I feel like it's a trap in the school system. I start looking up some of the people who write these books, and I start seeing where the publishing to these books goes, and it goes to the elites. The publishing goes to these elites, and the stuff that they're teaching in the history books is all lies. So they're just brainwashing our children from the start, and the school system alone is getting them ready to work a 9-to-5 job. Get up, okay, be at this building at a certain time. You got to ask to go to the bathroom. You got to go to lunch at a certain time. You got to, you doing everything, and like a constructive type of, what do you call it? Like
systematic
programming. It's programs, right? So I mean, I just don't. I really don't agree with it. I've recently snatched my son out of school this year, and I'm teaching him things. He's in Conscious University is where he is. He's learning about melanation. He's learning about the chakra system, and he's learning about the nervous system. He's learning about breathing techniques. He's things that's really going to get him somewhere in life, and about being an entrepreneur. Running your own business. The things that you're going to really need. Because everything they're teaching.
But a huge difference is when I talk to people that like come from money.
Yeah.
The children go to college for an experience, for fun.
Yeah,
they don't actually go to college to have their life depend on it. Whereas we do. Like we go to college to have a better life. They go to college for an experience. So the kids being able to pass down generational wealth so that your child can just go to college for the experience.
That's it.
But
They gonna go
Can
test
I
out.
wanna-
They
I wanna
gonna go
speak on
test out
that.
the bisexual
See,
thing and the drug.
No. I want to speak on this, brother, because what he said is very heavy, and that's the topic. That's where I'm coming from. Like, we come from poverty, right?
Right.
So I went to college thinking like I was gonna get out of poverty and save my family. I was just talking about that, but what I said, I would never change that college experience. Like, I'm glad I
Right.
went.
I
You know what I
wouldn't
mean?
either.
The people, like the people I met, you know what I mean? The things that I've done, like the people I met in college, I can count on them more than anybody I met on my block, your block,
Yeah.
high school,
Yeah.
middle school. Bottom line, like anybody I grew up with probably smoked me. Like, you know what I mean? It's that real.
Yeah.
If on my success, somebody I went to school with, they'd be happy. They trying to invest, and I probably
Yeah.
had more money than them. But just because they feel like we from that same fraternity, you know, it's the brotherhood. So, like you said, I
Not
tell
the
people,
fraternity, though.
yeah,
Please, let's not get started
What I'm
on
saying,
that.
no, the brotherhood is you need a network, you need a
Yeah.
support system. You don't
Facts.
have a
Yes.
support system, you're not gonna get nowhere because they running on TV, they own your air, your water. You ain't getting around them. Bottom line,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. So if you don't have no type of support system, where your resources gonna come from? You, what do you have? Nothing. What do you own? Nothing. Even if you got a paper that say you own something, you still own nothing. So it's
Yeah.
just the reality of how you're going to move and network. So you go to college for the experience. Now, if somebody would have taught me what this man said, my whole perception of college would have been different.
Right.
What I tell people from what I learned, if you're an intelligent person and these people going to pay for you to go to school, by any means go. If you're going to come out
Yeah.
with $300,000 in debt, do not go.
Yes.
And that's
Yeah.
that's my whole thing. You know what I
You know
mean?
what I mean? It's just that simple how I feel about it. Like, if you smart enough to now play the game and make them pay for everything, and you're going to
Yes.
be financially stable because you exercise your intelligence, why wouldn't you do that? What, you going to get out here and struggle?
I mean, you're gonna struggle either way. Once you, I mean, not.
But it's a different struggle, though, because that person can bring us up. Like, Nat Turner had to sit at the table for the tables to turn. That's all I'm saying.
I just feel like personally, you could be in the matrix and not of it. And you know, like I said, knowing what I know now, it's a lot of things I would have done differently. You know, it's a lot of because once you find out that this is a setup, you're not gonna go. If you know that they're about to set you up, you're not gonna go. You're not gonna pull up. You know what I'm saying? You know, niggas say, okay, bring this amount of money or whatever to this property, and you know it's a setup. You're not gonna pull up to the motherfucking building, right?
It depends. I come from bigger the risk, bigger the reward. Like, I know what I'm getting. Like, stand what you're doing, say. Like, I know what I'm getting into. Like, I'm not gonna rob a bank, but I rob a bank. You know
But
what
you're
I'm
not
saying?
gonna pull up to a setup though.
Exactly,
If you
but-
know it's a setup, you're not going.
But if I understand the setup, I'm gonna be prepared to set the setup up. They gonna be watching me, but I'm watching them. It's like what they say. It's what you know and who you know.
Yeah.
Everything you can win with that all day in anything.
Well,
it don't matter. I
I
don't care
just-
about
I'm
the game.
just
I
not
know the
pulling up.
referees. I know the coaches.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't care. I
yeah,
got this.
You gotta
And
have,
see,
we gotta have all
really,
mindsets.
and see, really, that's the game because there's like 6 degrees of separation. It used to be, and now I believe it's like 1. So now the system is flipped upside down because now we can connect a lot easier. So
Right.
now, if I have an idea, a person to fund my idea is only a page away on Instagram.
Right.
Like a person to get my stuff off the ground is so close. And so when he's mentioning network, the problem now is the networks are growing so much to where the system is like, we have to do something because you're going to get the right people with the right people, and it's going to be too much to control. And so that's what I believe that this whole part of this CV-19 thing was keeping us disconnected. Because what happens is once you keep people separated, the ideas can't flourish. Because like he just said, me by myself, I don't have anything.
Right.
But like us 4 in the room right now, or us 5 in the room, we could do a lot more than just me or us individually. So they're telling you to stay away from people, stay at home, just focus on the vaccine, focus on the virus. Nobody's talking about getting any money.
Right.
Nobody's talking about starting a business. Even though the economy is failing, nobody's talking about anything that's empowering for the people. There's no message about farming, planting seeds. None of this stuff is being said by the mainstream media. To me, I listen to what they don't say. What are they not talking about? They're not talking about economics because we're getting to an era now where you're going to be able to make money easier with less sweat, right? because now we get paid for ideas.
Right.
Now we get paid for apps, and so now that's what we're moving to. So now, to me, if Black consciousness is rising up for Black people, what does that mean? We're the ones that set the trend for everything. So that means we got the ideas, we got the talent. So the smartest thing to do would be what? You know what? Y'all are the ones affected the most by COVID, so y'all need to stay away the most. Y'all need to get these shots, because you got to think about where the heartbeat. So when we talk about college, they didn't really want us going to school for that reason.
Right.
They want us to go to school to work and be a worker, but not to go to school with a plan that was going to affect the rest of our lives.
Facts.
Going to school with a blueprint saying, I want to connect with a guy that does this, a girl that does this, person does this, and when I get out, I'm going to have a whole infrastructure set up.
That's how I work for real. And that's basically, I'm glad that you touched on that topic, because, you know, that's what I tell people. But the best way I can tell them is if you get in your education paid for it, go. And if you don't go. But that's very vain. You know what I mean? That's not being very descriptive to someone that's trying to find themselves in life. You know, so I'm going to have a better way, you know, to put it to some youth, you know, how to navigate through the college system or whatever like that. So
yeah.
I'm glad that you, because it's about the experience. And me being from poverty, I wasn't thinking college was going to change my life. But the best thing I know is about the people I met, the network. I could depend on them people. I met people like they dad the mayor. Like, I'm not going to meet nobody dad that's the mayor walking up and down the street. Like, you know, so the connections that I made, that's where it's at. Who you know.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I just want to get to the point where we don't depend or lean or feel like we need these motherfuckers, because I'm beyond that now. I feel like we are very strong. They need us. We don't need them. So we got to lose the mindset that we need them, because I hear it so much from our own kind. You know, we need them to get forward. We need them to eat. We need them. We don't. And if we lose that mindset that we
need them, they just own everything.
Yeah,
that's
see,
what
that's
say
that's the problem.
That's the thing. That's the
problem.
thing. They just own everything. Like, as men, I'm gonna tell you, as men, man, we don't feel like we need them. They done made us feel so less than. Why would we even want to see them to need them? Is that we understand they own everything. If they want to own our air, if they want to say it's $5 for air, what we gonna do? They can say that right now. It's $5 to breathe. What we gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, but my thing is, it's got to be some type of breaking point, because they can't do shit without us. So what if we don't pay it? What if nobody? No, they're not going to kill everybody. They need the money.
Yes,
what if?
they will.
What if nobody pay? If we don't, look, all the shit that they selling, we got to buy it. All the shit that they selling, we are their top. We're the top people they market to. We spend the most money. Melanated beings spend the most money, hands down.
We just spend our money with each other. That's it. Like, we are our own cancer. We could easily do it.
Right.
Let's spend our money with each other.
Period.
Stop hating on each other.
Listen, and it's easier said than done.
We could just do that. We could just do that, boy.
No, it's easier said than done. No, it's easier said than done, but it's easier said than done, but we need to do it. We got to start somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Because we can start small. Like he said, it's this many people in the room, but if we all, I'm gonna support you. Whatever you got going on, I'm buying. Whatever you got, I'm buying. And we stick to that.
That's
and then and people follow fads. We living in a world of bots. They all programmed, so you can the same way they're programming them to buy all they shit and the Nike and the Balenciaga and all that shit. We can start reprogramming people in our own small niches, our own small communities, until it becomes a trend. You know what I'm saying? So, but you got to start with a mindset, and the first mindset is saying, "Fuck them, we don't need them for shit." You know what I'm saying? We gotta be able to farm, like he said. We gotta be able to grow our own food. That's very important. That's what they use over top of us more than anything is food. We all need to eat at some point. So they be like, okay, well, first of all, putting food in the market and charging for it, food was free. We grew it on our own lands. Now we paying for it. We got to pay for this shit. And we paying for poison on top of that.
Agriculture and hydroponics is one of the biggest movements that is going on out there. It's not like talked about on the news, but if you like hit the streets and know what's going on within the movement, like people is farming. This has been going on for the last 5 to 10 years. If you just get around, like that's where the farmers market come from, because we're from what's called food deserts, and they got the markets where we got the 50-day-old food and things of that nature. So that's why the farmer markets come out and they accept food stamps, because they know that we live in a food desert.
Right.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So if you talk to the people in a farmer's market, they will educate you on hydroponics and all type of ways to grow tomatoes and stuff in your house, in your basement, without grass.
I need to do that. That's my main. I tried. Listen, I tried. But when I first became conscious, I said, "Fuck this." I bought all these flower pots.
And aquaponics too. I'm just talking about hydroponics. I don't smoke hydro.
See, this motherfucker. So, I bought all these flower pots and seeds. I'm gonna try to just over talk this one right here, okay? And I called myself starting my own crops. I said, you know what? We started our own crops, kids. We planted all these green beans and all types of shit, and they died very soon because I didn't know the proper way to take care of them. I never done this before. You know what I'm saying? I'm a city girl. I was always going to go buy the shit at the local farmer's market or whatever. So, we do need classes like that. Anybody who's listening, if you're able to farm, what's it called again? What's the name?
Aquaponics, hydroponics.
Easy J's
agriculture.
been doing it for years.
Easy
he had all
Jace?
these college professors. I got some footage I'm gonna give you so you can
Oh,
share.
please,
on the page.
yes.
But I want to, cousin. I stay away from your consciousness.
Yeah. Cause you afraid
I'm
yours
conscious.
gonna slide out. That's why you don't
No,
want
no.
people to know how conscious your
I
ass
just
is.
understand deaf, dumb, and blind. I understand the significance of it, and as much as you want to talk about it, like you said, you're going to enlighten those that reciprocate to what you're saying.
Thanks.
So I get it. But it's one thing that I disagree. Now, I'm not going to blame all three of you guys, but I'm going to blame all three of you guys. The college system, I agree 1,000,000% of that first perspective of saying how it was actually started with a plan to control. We get it. Religion is all is a form of control. So, unless you guys are going to put up some institutions or some schools
Trade schools.
to teach consciousness along with the real history, don't shun upon the schools. I'm going to tell the children my opinion because Fran said it, you said it, and he said it. Y'all referencing these degrees, y'all referencing these accolades that come from them. So how discredit it? Don't discredit it because it's information that you received. Now, as a child, from day one, we learn how to read. We learn how to articulate. We learn how to do that from reading, perception. We read the mouths of the parents that talk to us. That's the first thing. So don't downplay the information because they have to have a place to get the information. Now, deaf, dumb, and blind will be a lot of them that went to Penn State, wherever Fran went, wherever this brother went. Whatever schools you went to, you still went to that school referencing their trades because you receive information. Now, Alpha and Omega is the beginning and the end. You got conscious at some point in your life. Don't downplay the information. Just hopefully that they have some good parents or some parenting or advisors like you guys that can give them the truth when it's time to give it to them. Now, that's a very, very key element to being conscious is timing.
I'm going to just say the depth system. I'm going to just speak on it first. And y'all, I'm going to be short and sweet.
Okay.
From my perspective of that, it's not about the schooling. It's about the debt that you're not taught about. It's the debt system. Like, I'm going to be in school, right? Why am I $180,000 for debt and I'm not making $10,000 a year? But hold on,
You're right on that.
Hold on. And I ain't that. Now it's places around the world where they pay for college and it's free.
Right.
So my thing was about being in debt and we're in poverty and we're not even being taught. You're going somewhere swearing your life about to be saved and
Right.
you wind up in a worse condition than you was in before you went.
Right.
Who teaches you that? I didn't know that. I'm a living
I didn't either.
experience of that. I went through that. I thought it was gonna save me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm gonna keep it a bean. But if I would have known to take my stuff and get my scholarships, I wasn't educated on scholarships, and I graduated number 5 when I graduated from high school, and I wasn't even educated on scholarships.
Right.
I didn't even know what that was. You know what I mean? So it's the lack of education and the debt that we're getting put in. That's what I'm addressing. That's my issue. Why they're not sending kids to college for free. That's the issue. It's third world countries that's broke, and they send kids to college for free.
Well, I can tell you why they not sending them. I can tell you why George Soros, the person who owns all the all the melanated universities in the country, I can tell you why he's not doing it for free, because that wasn't the way that the system was designed. The system was designed for us to fail. And as sad as it sounds, college was designed for us to fail. It was designed for us to fail for these reasons. Like you said, the debt part of it. Then the things that they're teaching us while we're in there. Then they have a thing called the sororities, where if you want this good job, right, you have to sign up with these sororities. That's all tied into these 1%.
But they go back to, and you're right, cousin. You're really right. See, but I said 2 key words: alpha and omega.
Mm-hmm.
We will always be hundreds of years behind the plan. Number 1, we don't have capital. And we had capital, then we can reverse the psychological impact that's been put on us through, I ain't going to go into the slavery aspect that y'all was talking about, through the mental state of slavery. Because slavery is a mentality,
It definitely is.
But at the end of the day, it is a control, because I can lock you, I can kidnap all 3 of y'all right now. Well, I won't be able to do him. I can kidnap y'all right now and make y'all do everything that I say if I have something that make y'all fear of me. So that was instilled in us from day one. But y'all right, and I don't want to turn it into like what y'all said was negative, because it wasn't. It's just that you have to get the information from somewhere, let them process it the way it is, unless you can get like Gates and have enough where you could buy a whole city, do a larger version of what Master P did in his projects, buy a large city and make it a whole school system and make it for free. Because you could do it. That's what they design nonprofits for.
Right.
I mean, I would never do a nonprofit. I'm going to do a profit, because I love good old America.
Go ahead, brother.
There's no such thing as a nonprofit. So basically, when I'm talking about education, though, to me, education has to be instilled before you go to college. Meaning, what we suffer from is we don't learn how to operate in life. We don't learn how to maneuver through life. And so there's simple things that other races get taught that we don't get taught. And so when we go into these situations, whether it could be sports, entertainment, school, whatever, we're always losing because we don't have the basic information on how to navigate with something simple as reading a contract, something simple. So what I'm saying is, like, when a child goes to school, if I have some children, they want to go to college, they'll be going to college for the experience. They're not going to go to college necessarily to survive in life. It's because they want to go to college, they want to have fun, they want to play sports or whatever, but hopefully I can have something for my kids already set up, some kind of foundation or whatever. But to me, education starts in the home. It starts way before you go out into this world. The parents should be teaching the kids about how to navigate through life, like putting your stuff in a trust. Are you going to let your child start a business, learning about who the straw man is, learning how to operate under your business. All these little, just simple things, having life insurance.
Yes.
I got three things to break a generational curse. The first thing is getting life insurance. That way, when you pass away, your children get something.
Right.
And the second thing is own some property, own some land. The third thing is start a business you can pass down. Those are 3 things you can do to put your children way ahead of the game, because when it comes to our community, we have all the gifts and talents. We don't have the information.
Right.
And so what usually happens is what we do gets monetized by white people or Jewish people. That's why you see all these industries built on what we do. So the key is the system can actually stay in place. It's just how we maneuver in the system.
Facts.
So you think about it, these other races come over to America, for some reason, they don't care about racism. They come from these other countries, dirt poor, and they come over here. They don't care about racism because you know what? They're focused on what? Getting to the money, building their community up. So when they come over here, think about it. They all come over here and build their own communities up in a foreign country.
Facts.
We'll go somewhere in another country. We won't build no community up nowhere else. We won't do it here.
That messes me up all the time. Like, you can't go in any other country and see Americans there getting no money. Can't go to China and see. Can't go to China. You can't even go to Africa and see us. Maybe some parts of Africa, but you can't go to other countries where you see them all coming here and migrating here to America, the land of the free, and make money.
Can I ask you, cousin? This is specifically for you and the guests. I got just two questions that I have my own opinion.
Okay.
I'm not going to say what my opinion is, but I want to ask y'all a question. One is on horoscopes.
Okay.
I'm very careful with words, especially with you guys being so smart. But I want to use believe.
Okay.
Do you believe in horoscopes? That's one. The second one is, damn, I lost my train of thought on the first.
You want us to answer the first one?
Answer the first one, yes.
All right. So when you say, do we believe in?
I already kind of know Fran answer. You can chime on that too. Go ahead.
Yeah. So when you say, do we believe in horoscopes, you basically saying, do we believe in astrology? And I heavily believe in astrology.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
because astrology is just what they called it.
I mean, well, I'm saying,
but
like,
it's all communication, so you know we reference it.
Yeah.
So okay.
So yeah.
Tell me why.
as far as astrology, I feel like it's the hidden science to life. I really feel like I've been cheated for 41 years because I didn't find out about it until 40 years ago. I mean until a year ago, I meant to say. And so 40 years I've been struggling through. When I can find out, I'm going to have a bad day today because the sun is in Mars or whatever like that. And today's not going to be a good day, right? Because it's just not in line, but we're taught in spirituality and religion, we're taught that I'm just trying to be all right. So I'm gonna briefly.
To my next question.
All right,
let him elaborate on it, but that is my second question, cousin.
All right. So
do you believe that a religion works?
All right. Well, in religion.
Not believe, but do you believe that a religion works?
Okay.
For people.
So I just answered that, and then we head on over to the next guest. But I feel like in religion, we're taught that astrology is witchcraft, is something that you are forbidden to look into. Because anytime you talk about science to a pastor or a religious leader, they automatically shun you away from that. And I found out recently that the reason why they want to shun you away from it, because science can debunk the whole religion aspect. It can take the whole religion aspect and just throw it away because all the things don't add up. Our body, we don't even talk about our body in religion. We don't talk about ourselves and what we're made up of.
Some religions do.
Okay.
Or, see,
and
the
mine
word
I
is,
didn't.
you got to be careful with a religion.
Rather,
I
didn't.
Because some do, salute, Hinduism do.
Okay.
I heard shout
Hinduism.
out to NOI, the whole NOI. Just conscious people that I know for a fact that are conscious. The 5%, guys, is a 2%. All of them believe somewhat, that's not to offend, because I don't offend any religion.
Yeah, in Christianity we didn't. But
yeah, the Israelites do. Yes, they got different principles from the Egyptian perspective. See, I don't want to say that.
Yeah.
See, my cousin goes somewhere. But I want to get his opinion about it, too.
Go ahead. Let's go.
I don't really, I'm not into astrology. I mean, I'm pretty sure, to me, honestly, I believe that everything here means something. So, if you break down every human being, we're all made up of the same things that the stars are made of. Everything is the same chemical compounds when you break everything down. So everything is connected because everything has the protons, neutrons, and electrons. That's everything. Thanks. So what we're seeing right now in the physical world is all these things vibrate at a high speed. You slow everything down, everything is all particles. So I believe, and I grew up in the church and everything, but I still do believe that everything is here for a reason, meaning that water's here for a reason. The trees give off oxygen and we give the trees carbon dioxide. Everything is connected. So I would be a fool to think that the sun don't matter, the stars don't matter, the planets don't matter. Everything matters is here for a reason. So clearly, to me, everything matters. Now, the religion to me is how you want to practice something, your rituals. A person can have their own religion. It's not necessarily you got to go to a church or a mosque or a synagogue. A person can make up their own religion. If I get up every morning, pray, exercise, fast, work in the garden, that's a religion. Because other people can follow that. So I believe that everything is connected. But I also believe that you got to do what works for you.
Thanks.
Some people try to follow other religions that just don't work. And then some folks do their own thing and they flirt. It just depends on what works for you. But I'd advise anybody, if you seek the truth, you're going to find it.
Facts.
Because the truth is waiting for you to because the only thing that can free you is the truth. And I had to learn that the hard way. I can't free anybody. The only thing that can free somebody is the truth, meaning they see the truth and then they'll operate accordingly. All this trying to come up with a leader and lead the people, that's not going to work.
Right.
Because we're going to find a fault in every leader that comes in front of us, even if it's the right person. It don't matter. You got to find this world on your own. You got to walk this path of life on your own, because guess what? At the end of the day, it's going to all be on you. So I don't know about astrology. I don't know about too much about religion per se, but I do know that everything is here for a reason.
Thanks.
So if you got to stand on the ground barefoot to ground, that ain't in the Bible, but you need to be on the ground. I believe in grounding. You see what I'm saying? I believe you got to drink water. There's a lot of stuff you got to do that's just scientific for your physical body.
Right.
We're made up of 75% water. So they tell you that the moon's making the tides move in the waves. If you're made up of water, clearly the moon's going to affect you too. This is all common sense stuff. To me, it's not spooky. It ain't devil worship. It's just everything is connected because everything is here for a reason.
Facts.
These stuff is rotating. Think about it. The sun is rising. The moon is. All this stuff is happening, and everybody thinks it's just happening because it's happening. No, you called me your show for a reason. It's a purpose behind it. Mm-hmm. He walked in. It's a purpose. He chimed in. It's a purpose. He's sitting there. It's a purpose. Everything is done for a reason.
That's right. Absolutely.
The moment we think it's not, then you become a zombie.
Facts.
So the moment you think we not connected with all this stuff, you're a zombie. Yeah. Now they can program you. And what they're going to do is, once you can program a person, the next step is, I don't need a person. I can program something that I created. So the next wave is going to be, how are we going to compete with AI? That's going to be the next thing.
That's exactly what's going on. Is that competition with AI is definitely what's taking place right now.
One humor question to all three of y'all. Not Fran and not you, Star, because I know the truth. Brother, do you have a bank account?
Yeah.
Okay.
He like, well, I don't know how to answer that.
Y'all should know where I'm going. If we conscious, if we all conscious, all three of y'all smart people.
Yeah, listen.
Well, you got a bank account, Star. You got one.
Look,
you got 5 of them.
It's just being in the matrix and not of it. You know what I'm saying? It's being so if I gotta pay my bills through the automated system, then I need a debit card so I can do that. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I know certain shit. I know how to finesse and I know how to manipulate.
You gotta sit at the table and learn how to turn them, baby.
That's it.
I knew a guy, really like a mentor to me. And he was an older white guy and rich, but he worked for himself. So he worked for his company. He was an employee. So he was basically making $25,000 a year. So that means he was qualifying for everything, but he owned the company.
Right.
And I'm like, he's telling me, he says, these are loopholes that I'm teaching you about the system, because he's like, he said it's a loophole for everything.
Facts.
So then when Donald Trump says, oh, he ain't paying his taxes, yeah, because he done found a loophole. Think about it. The more money you make, the more loopholes you got to find.
Yeah.
It's just how the game is. What we do is we think that, oh, we got to pay taxes. No, you don't. You can start a business right now and write everything off.
Everything.
And then they say,
I've been doing it for the last 13 years.
Okay. But guess what, though? It's something simple, right? As far as starting it, it's something simple. Right. But it cost me $350 to start my business, $350. That's something I would waste in a week. I would waste $350 in a week, and I could start a business and save on these taxes or whatever, and push a product.
Right. And that's what we need to start pushing to our youth.
Right.
Start your own business, entrepreneurship as much as we can. That is the key. That is how we can get out of this. First of all, the whole constructive, the whole construng, whatever you call it, what you call it, Shay. This whole the whole construct is crumbling right now anyway. Yeah. So it's actually about to be of all benefit for us, for everybody who's willing to wake up and just do something. Now for the people who need leaders, it might be a little effed up for them because they need somebody to tell them to get up, go do this, do that, and they're not able to maneuver on their own. But for the ones that's able to, entrepreneur me will flourish for sure because everything is crumbling around us. You know what I'm saying? Right. So,
and I'm gonna say something about that. And I think a lot of people look at the world as like a broken 50,000 piece puzzle, right? And you trying to put all these puzzles, you looking all like, I can't put this together, but like, first thing you do, you pick up the first piece. That's yourself. Be a masterpiece of yourself. Thanks. And then you can see where you fit in and where you don't fit in. So it's not about what's going on around the world. It's like you can control your own world. It's no problem in the economy. Your own economy. There's something wrong with your economy if you don't not get money.
That's right.
Anybody can. If foreigners, like you said, can come here and get money, there's nothing wrong with the economy.
Start small. Yeah. Start with yourself. You know what I'm saying? Start with your kids. But I thank you so much for coming, brother. First of all, let's talk about your shirt that you got on because you're starting your own clothing business.
Hustle.
Oh yeah, I got my own brand. It's basically HHM, Hustle Heart Mouthpiece.
Okay.
And so basically, to me, these are the 3 pillars to be successful in life. Because you got to have hustle. That's your drive. You got to have heart, meaning you're not going to quit. You got to have mouthpiece. You got to be able to articulate yourself and convey the message. Mm-hmm. So to me, those are the 3 things that'll make you successful in life. If you master these 3 things, you can't be stopped. So that's my brand, basically, Hustle Heart Mouthpiece, though.
I love it. I thank you so much for coming out with us. We got to have you back. This ain't your last time coming. I just want you to know that. The energy was amazing. And you definitely you're on your shit, and I love it. So we'll be having you back. We'll have our people talk to your people or whatever. But thanks again for coming through. And we got next coming up, Paulie and the Gang. That's how we do. Hip Hop on Deck. EA is in the building. That's my big cuz. He has his own show on Fridays from 6 to 8. Make sure y'all tune into that. And we just out here. Follow FranDaddySp. Go ahead, Fran.
Yeah, follow me, FranDaddySp. And check out me. What you call me? Like what I'm called again?
Fran.
Duality.
Yeah, Fran is definitely duality. He definitely makes sure he touches both parts. He don't miss out on any parts of duality, okay? He's one of those. But he has balance, so that's the good part. But this has been a great show. And I'm StarChougie, your host with the most. And I'm going to need you to go ahead and follow that Herbal Essence page. If you need herbs, you need sea moss, follow Herbal Essence, the Herbal Essence store on Instagram. Get your herbs. We make herbal tea to whatever you need: high blood pressure, low blood pressure, erectile dysfunction, herpes. I got a gentleman with herpes, and I won't put his information out there, of course, but he's doing very well with his herpes tea and his herpes oils that I made for him. So, that's a good thing.
Good job.
Yeah, so we out here healing the people like Dr. Sheeby's. Yeah, I'm Dr. Sheeby.
Yeah, that's the name I gave her, Dr. Sheeby.
Yeah, Frank gave me that name.
Dr. Sebi?
Dr. Sheeby.
That's Dr. Sheeby.
Yeah. So we out here just trying to help heal the community. But I love y'all so much. Thank you for tuning in. I see you, good brother. Thank you for your time.
All right,
bro. Good.